Hello, and welcome back to the Jessica Pinili podcast. We are going to be speaking about procrastination and why you do it. This is going to be a little bit educational, but it's also going to be a little bit of a pep talk, especially at time of recording. It is July, we're midway through the year. So, something to start to look at. And in fact, something you should always be looking at is procrastination, why you are doing it, what is causing you to do it. And we're going to go exactly through the process and things that I teach my client that's going to help you understand why you're procrastinating, why it's something that you have these big dreams and these big desires and you're like, I have these big goals. I'm here to live a wealthy, exciting life full of joy, full of love, but why do I keep procrastinating every time I'm working towards it? I'm going to tell you why today. And if you're watching here on YouTube, I would absolutely love it if you would hit the subscribe button, if you would hit the thumbs up. It means so much to my channel. It truly pushes out these podcast episodes, my entire channel, out to other like minded, high achieving women. And if you are here on YouTube, leave a comment. Let me know you're here. Let me know if this episode helps you and what else you want me to speak about. And if you're listening to this episode, I would absolutely love it if you could give it a 5-star review. Oh my God, I can't speak. 5-star review and even leave a comment. It quite literally takes 5 seconds to write a review. Hopefully, something nice. And you can come connect with me if you're not here on YouTube. Come and connect with me over on Instagram. I love a chat. I love hearing from you if you are loving the podcast, but also open to any feedback, any episodes that you want to hear me putting out, you want me to record for you. Please let me know. I'm always open to suggestions. And in fact, this was inspired by a comment here from a YouTube channel. I have done a couple of episodes. I think the last one, maybe like a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago. I can't even remember. But I have done a couple of episodes on procrastination. And then I got a comment about going through it again, and a newer subscriber here on YouTube. And I was like, you know what? I am due to do an updated version of procrastination and why we procrastinate. So, in saying that, let's get into it. If you, and I'm going to put this very, very simply, I want to make this the most simple episode ever to digest and understand. If you are procrastinating, it is because you cannot regulate to the brand new version of you. Let me say that again. If you are procrastinating, it is because you are struggling to regulate to the brand new version of you. Phase 3 of my woman mastery method is all about regulating to a brand new capacity. So, being able to feel safe within our mind and our body to live out our brand new reality. Phase 1 and phase 2 is subconscious reprogramming, it's identity work. You can do all of that type of work, but if you actually do not feel safe, you will never maintain what you've created in your life. This is why I see a lot of high achievers who come and work with me after they've worked with other coaches, because they are getting results and then all of a sudden they can't maintain them. They can't sustain them and they have no idea why. They keep attracting the exact same patterns. They keep coming into the same behavior. They keep procrastinating, even though they've made an investment. And it's because they haven't learned how to regulate to a new capacity. So, if you want the full scope of that, I definitely highly recommend applying for the mastermind, the 6-month mastermind mastery, which is woman mastery. And that is going to teach you how to overcome these internal blockers so you can insanely scale your results when it comes to success across the board in your life. You want more money? This is it. You want to get promoted in your career? This is a mastermind for you. You want more clients? You want virality in your business? Like, you want to be seen? This is for you. You want to work on your relationships and deepening that connection and the fair exchange? This mastermind is for you to scale your results across the board in your life. And this is all about what I'm going to share with you today is really what I talk about, as I said, in phase 3, but understanding that it's not that you have this lack of motivation. It's not that you need to work on your discipline and your focus, although contradicting a little bit about what I just said. Sometimes we do need to look at our discipline levels. Sometimes we do need to look at our focus levels. Yes, 110%. But it is normally an indication to something bigger subconsciously, which is your body is just too afraid to regulate to that new identity. It's too afraid to bring in that new reality. So let's say, this is the example I get. Let's say that you are at your career and you want the promotion, and your boss says to you, Yes, we are looking to put you in alignment with this promotion over the next month or so. We're going to give you this project, and it's however you do on this project, it's really going to give us the feedback into whether or not you're ready for this promotion. And so consciously, you are thinking, yes, this is what I've been working towards. I'm going to get the title, the status, the recognition. I'm going to get that promotion. I'm also going to get the salary with that promotion. That's you consciously. Subconsciously, you're freaking out because you're thinking about the responsibility that comes with that new income. You're thinking about what's going to happen when you get that. Like it's change. We know, like 101, when it comes to subconscious mind and our nervous system, it does not like change. It thinks it's a big, scary bear or a lion or a tiger that is chasing us. And so we go into this mode where it's like the body wants to protect us. So it does stuff like procrastination. That is us actually trying to regulate because we can't regulate to a new capacity. We can't regulate to the new identity that we desire, to the new thing. So, going back to this example, you consciously are like, this is so good. I'm going to do this project, right? You get given, let's say, a month to do this project. A week goes by, you do nothing. Second week goes by, you do nothing. And then you're starting to think, all right, I need to work on this project. It needs to be handed in 2 weeks' time on a Friday. You get to the next week, you're not really done, but you've done a little bits and pieces, but then you find yourself scrolling through TikTok. You find yourself binge watching the newest episodes of whatever you're watching on Netflix. You find yourself cleaning the house, doing the laundry, catching up with like literally anything, but working on the project. Then you start to get really, really frustrated with yourself because you're like, oh my God, come on. Like, where's my motivation? Or why can't I stay disciplined? Or like, why have I woken up sick? Or why have I woken up with this headache? Like, I can't work on it now, right? You start to manifest all this thing. It gets to the week before you need to submit, like, you have a week to submit. Then you start slowly working on it. And then the night before, you are just like working on it like crazy. It gets to Friday, you submit this project, and you know it is not your best work. You know you haven't put your best amount, your most quality time and effort and energy into that. You're a bit disappointed with yourself. You're starting to feel like, I really, really want this. I hope it's good enough. I push through. I feel burnt out. But because you're so used to these cycles, the burnout feels like you've succeeded. It feels like you've achieved something. Then you get the feedback the next week after your boss says to you, look, it just wasn't good enough. It just wasn't up to the standards that we thought you were prepared, especially when it comes to getting this brand new promotion. And so you're disappointed. And you think, well, maybe if I had more motivation, or maybe if I had more discipline, or I'm not good enough for this, or I'm not made for this success, we start to feed into that belief system. And that belief system is solidifying that current identity we have, what we're comfortable with, what we've already regulated to. Even though it may not feel regulating, we've regulated to that. And so the next time you get the opportunity, unless you do the work that I teach in the Woman Mastery Method, the work that I teach in the Mastermind, phase one, subconscious reprogramming, phase two, identity shifting, phase three, regulating to a new capacity. And this is why I've created this methodology. You will find yourself in these cycles and these loops of procrastination over and over and over again. So, what do we do, right? Is we start to look at it every time you are procrastinating. Number one, you need to recognize what your procrastination is. Are you wanting to hit a certain income goal in your business? Yet every time you go to create content, you manifest a sore throat, or maybe you start scrolling on TikTok and you say, well, I have tomorrow. Or maybe you do one recording of a video and then you start to busy yourself with things that don't matter, like looking at new fonts on Canva, or maybe going through like a new website design layout, right? Like start to recognize you need to become, instead of shaming or judging yourself and getting like beating yourself up about it. Like I always say to my clients that there's no point in shaming or judging yourself. Like that's not productive. That's not going to get you the results that you desire. So instead become consciously aware of what are the actions? What are the behaviors? Is it that every time you go to record content for your business, you start scrolling on TikTok instead, and then it's like 3 hours go by? Recognize what they are. Recognize what you are fearful of. Like, what are you trying to regulate to? What, number one, what's the new capacity? What's the future you? But what's the internal blocker? The mastermind is actually created for high achieving women to overcome internal blockers, such as fear of success, fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of rejection, fear of change. We work through those internal blockers to scale our results across the board. That's exactly what the mastermind is for. But you need to recognize, what am I actually afraid of happening? So if we go back and loop back to that example that I gave when it comes to the career, is maybe subconsciously you're actually afraid of being seen because you're going to get promoted to a higher level. Maybe you're afraid of being seen by hundreds more employees at this company, and you're going and you're afraid of being charged in all of them. Maybe you're afraid that you're going to get a salary increase and you feel like you're really bad with money, and subconsciously you're thinking, well, if I get that amount of money, I'm just going to waste it. I don't know how to manage my money. I don't want to pay that amount of tax. So subconsciously, we are going to do something to keep us where we are. We can't regulate to a new capacity because we have these fears. Or maybe it's a fear of failure. It's like, if I get promoted, then I feel like I'm going to fail. I feel like, yes, I'll get that title and that status and that recognition, but I'm going to fail at that job. Why would we do the things, like take action towards those things, if we have those fears? And this is why phase one of the woman mastery methodology is all about subconscious reprogramming, because you need to get to those unconscious fears, those internal blockers. But see how the reason you procrastinate most of the time, majority 99.9% of the time, isn't a motivation problem. It probably isn't even a knowledge problem. I've heard that before. It's like, I don't know enough. No, it's probably not that. You probably know too much. The fact of the matter is, you are just afraid of that next identity, of that next self concept, of that next level of your life. You don't feel comfortable and safe regulating to it. So, why would your conscious and subconscious mind work together to get you towards that point if you don't feel safe having that in your life? And that's what it is. It's got nothing to do with your motivation levels. Most of the time, it's got nothing to do with your discipline levels. But I want you to ask yourself, next time you're scrolling on TikTok and you should be doing something for your business or your or relationship or whatever it may be, ask yourself, what am I afraid of happening? And work from there. Don't try overcome the procrastination and shame yourself, or do stuff like put a time limit on pardon me, put a time limit on your social media, or try to only do work at 5 a.m. because that's what all the no. Instead, uncover exactly what you're afraid is going to happen when you get that form of success. That is where I want you to start. I hope that has given you some insight into why you're procrastinating. And like I said, we work a lot on the overcoming internal blockers, scaling our success inside of the mastermind. But also, to complement this, I highly recommend jumping into Hack, which is my free 2-part training on hacking your subconscious mind to create habits for success. This will go perfectly. I go through phase one or around the woman mastery method, and I actually give 2 concepts that I teach my clients in that free training. So definitely sign up to that. And there's also in the show notes below a bunch of other things that will help you if this is something that you're struggling with. But I hope you have enjoyed this. I hope that you have gotten something that you can go and take action on, and I will speak to you in the next episode. Bye.